My BIL walked into my son's birthday party and announced, "You shouldn't be raising kids if you can't even keep a man interested." Everyone laughed except me. I turned to my husband, who just whispered, "He's joking, don't ruin the mood." I handed the cake knife to my sister and said, "Take over for a second." I drove straight to his parents' house, and what I found in their living room made me wish I'd left sooner. So, this happened a few months ago, and I'm still sorting through everything it blew up. I never thought I'd be the person writing one of these long revenge posts, but here we are. My name's Rachel. I'm 38. I live in Columbia, Missouri. I've been married to Rick for 10 years. We have a son, Jacob, who just turned 8. And until recently, I thought we were a stable, if a little boring, family. We had our ups and downs, but nothing I thought was serious enough to ruin us. I was wrong. Jacob's birthday was a big deal to me this year. He's been struggling a bit socially, some bullying at school, some anxiety, so I really wanted this party to be special. We rented out the little community center on the east side of town. Nothing crazy, but enough to fit family, some school friends, a bounce house outside, cake, pizza, party favors. I planned it all myself, stayed up late making dinosaur-themed decorations, baked cupcakes on top of the big cake. I even asked Rick to take the day off work early to help set up, and for once, he did. Everything seemed to be going okay until Rick's older brother, Dave, showed up. Dave is a piece of work. Loud, drunk most of the time, arrogant in a way that somehow makes people laugh instead of slap him. He's the kind of guy who walks into a room and starts cracking jokes about people before he's even taken his coat off. But he's family, so no one says anything. He came in late, drink already in hand. I'm guessing it wasn't soda in his cup. He made the rounds like he always does. Clapping people on the back, hugging too hard, talking too loud. He stopped and gave me a sloppy kiss on the cheek that made my skin crawl. Then he looked around and said, "Where's the birthday boy?" Jacob was in the bounce house. I pointed. Dave made some joke about burning energy before puberty ruins him, and people laughed. I didn't. Eventually, it was time to cut the cake. I had all the kids gather around the table, and Jacob stood next to me, beaming. I was just about to slice into the dinosaur when Dave raised his glass and said, "Hold up, I got a toast." Everyone turned. He raised his drink higher and said, "To Rachel, raising a kid all by herself even though she's still technically married." Laughter. I blinked. I didn't get it at first. Then he followed it up with, "You shouldn't be raising kids if you can't even keep a man interested." More laughter. Actual laughter. From grown adults, including some of the moms I invited from Jacob's school. Even Rick gave a small shake of the head, like, "Oh, Dave," and chuckled. I looked straight at Rick, dead in the eye. He leaned in and said, "He's joking, don't ruin the mood." That was it. That was the moment I realized I was alone in that room. I handed the cake knife to my sister, who'd driven in from Arkansas to surprise Jacob. I said, "Take over for a second?" She looked confused but nodded. I walked out of that building, got in my car, and drove. I didn't go home. I didn't even know where I was going. I ended up in front of Rick's parents' house, without really meaning to. They were supposed to be in Florida, visiting family. Gone for a week. I still had their garage code from a few years back when we watched the place for them. I punched it in, door lifted, and I walked inside. At first, I thought maybe I'd just sit for a minute, catch my breath. Then I noticed something. 2 wine glasses. One half full, the other with lipstick on it. A woman's bra tossed lazily over the couch. A faint sound of music upstairs. I felt like my body was moving on its own. Up the stairs. Quietly. Slowly. Their bedroom door was cracked open. I pushed it gently. Rick. My husband. Naked. In bed. With Cheryl. Dave's wife. She saw me first. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed the sheet. Rick turned around and froze when he saw me standing there. He opened his mouth. Said my name. I walked out. No yelling. No crying. Nothing. just walked out and drove home. I came back to the party and didn't say a word. Just in time to see Jacob laughing with his cousins. I smiled for him, took pictures, sang happy birthday. I never told anyone what I saw. Not yet. Because I needed time. To think. To plan. What Rick and Cheryl didn't know was that I already suspected something was going on. What they didn't expect was what I'd do next. Because if they thought I'd take that lying down, they don't know me at all. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up on the couch, staring at the ceiling, while Rick crawled into bed hours later like nothing had happened. I could hear him shuffling around in the dark, trying not to wake me, like we were still playing house. Like I didn't see him inside his parents' bed with his brother's wife. The next morning, he made coffee like normal. Poured me a cup. Didn't say a word about it. And I didn't either. Not yet. Instead, I started watching. Listening. Noticing every little move he made. He'd leave for work at odd hours now, saying there was some inventory issue at the office. Or that a client needed him in person. His phone barely left his hand. He slept with it on silent under his pillow. I didn't confront him. I didn't ask questions. I just smiled. Played the role. And, behind his back, I was building something. I found a lawyer. Quietly. A woman named Colleen, sharp as glass, who didn't blink when I said I wanted full custody. I told her about Cheryl. About what I saw. She told me to get proof. Real proof. Screenshots. Texts. Voicemails. Photos if I could. So I waited. Then something strange happened. About 2 weeks after the party, Dave showed up at our house. Just walked in, unannounced. Rick was at work. Jacob was at school. I was home, folding laundry. Dave didn't even knock. I asked what he was doing there. He said, "We need to talk." I thought he was going to apologize. For the party. For humiliating me in front of everyone. But no. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "I know about Rick and Cheryl." I didn't say anything. He laughed, bitter. "You think I don't see it? You think I haven't known for months?" Still, I said nothing. Then he said something that threw me off completely. "You want to ruin them?" he asked. "I'll help." I stared at him. "Why would you help me?" His voice dropped. "Because she's been doing it behind my back. And I've got nothing left to lose." That's when he told me his side. Cheryl had been pulling money from their joint account. Quiet at first, then more and more. Thousands missing. He thought she had a gambling problem. Or maybe shopping. But it wasn't either of those things. It was Rick. She'd been giving Rick money. Helping him cover up debt. Paying for hotels. Meals. Flights. Dave showed me a charge from 2 weeks before Jacob's birthday. 2 round-trip tickets to Denver. Rick had told me he was going to a vendor conference. I had no idea Cheryl went with him. Dave said he had screenshots. Messages. Emails. He was saving them, waiting to see how far they'd go. Then he looked at me and said, "If you want to burn them down, I'll light the match." I should have felt grateful. Instead, I felt sick. Because if I let Dave help, I'd be just like them. So I told him the truth. I already had a lawyer. I already had a plan. And I didn't need him. But I lied. I did need him. Just not for what he thought. Because that same night, I took his screenshots. I copied the emails. I made a second copy of everything. And the next day, I used Rick's face to unlock his phone while he was asleep. I found even more. Photos. Messages. A calendar invite for their next work trip. I didn't tell Rick. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. But I started making phone calls. To Rick's boss. To Cheryl's school district, she's a counselor, if you can believe that. To a private investigator in Jefferson City who used to be a cop and knows how to get records legally. Because this wasn't just about cheating anymore. This was about money, fraud, and custody. And if Rick thought he could laugh at me with his brother at my son's birthday party like I was some kind of punchline, he had no idea what kind of story I was about to write him into. About a week after Dave showed up at my house, I got a call from the private investigator. His name's Mike. Retired state trooper with a voice like gravel and no time for small talk. He said, "You're not gonna like what I found." I braced myself. He started with the basics. Cheryl had been seeing Rick for almost 9 months. Not just hooking up, but traveling, wiring money to his personal account, even signing off on a joint application for a rental property in St. Louis. That hit me hard. St. Louis. 2 hours from here. Not some fantasy in another state. No, they were planning something close. Like they didn't even care if someone saw them. But that wasn't the worst of it. Mike said, "Your name's on a lease. You ever sign a rental agreement in St. Louis?" I hadn't. Ever. Turns out, Rick forged my signature. Used our joint tax info and my old work ID as proof of employment to sweeten the credit check. Cheryl signed her real name. And just like that, I was tied to an apartment I didn't even know existed. I hung up the phone and felt the walls close in. This wasn't just cheating. This was identity theft, fraud, and possibly a setup. Because suddenly it made sense why Rick was so eager to keep everything in my name. The utilities, the house, even the business line of credit he helped me get approved for last year when I started selling home decor online. He'd been using me as a safety net. If that lease went bad, it'd hit my credit. If the money dried up, he'd walk away clean. And Cheryl? She was all in. She had a separate P.O. box in Colombia under her maiden name. That's where Rick mailed things he didn't want me to see. I felt like I was losing my mind. But I didn't lose focus. Instead, I got smarter. I started printing everything, making copies, saving screenshots. I even opened a safety deposit box at a bank downtown, put every piece of evidence in there. No one knew. Not my sister. Not even the lawyer. Then I went quiet. Stopped asking Rick questions. Started smiling more. Acted like things were getting better. Like I was finally over it after the party. And that's when Rick got cocky. He started leaving his phone out again. Staying out even later. Talking openly about a business deal he was closing soon. That's how I found the folder. Hidden inside the Notes app on his phone. Password protected, but he used our anniversary as the code. Inside? Plans for the St. Louis apartment. A budget spreadsheet for furnishing it. A breakdown of what's mine/what's hers between him and Cheryl. And under Rachel? Nothing. No mention. No alimony plan. No custody talks. Just a note that said she's not going to fight. I took a picture of everything. And then, just to make sure the message was clear, I sent a screenshot of that note to Rick's phone. From my number. No words. Just the image. He read it at 2:14 a.m. I heard him get out of bed, pacing in the kitchen. I didn't go down. He didn't come up. We didn't speak the next morning. But the next twist wasn't from me. It came from Cheryl. The same day I found the apartment plan, Cheryl's car was keyed outside her school. 3 deep lines, right across the driver's side door. She called Rick in a panic. I heard him on the phone. "Are you sure it wasn't Dave?" Dave. Who now wasn't just angry, but spiraling. Because Cheryl had filed for divorce. Out of nowhere. Quietly. Served him at work. She didn't know I'd spoken to him. Didn't know he gave me screenshots. And now she was cutting him off before he could strike. Or so she thought. But Dave? He wasn't done. Because 3 days later, I found a letter in my mailbox. No stamp. Just folded and shoved inside. Inside it were photos. Rick. Cheryl. Together. Holding hands outside the St. Louis place. Kissing at a gas station off I-70. And one more I hadn't seen before, Rick, in my car. With Jacob in the back seat. And Cheryl in the front. She met my son. Without telling me. Without asking. They were playing family already. And that's when I knew. I wasn't just going to take them down. I was going to destroy everything they built, together and apart. I stood in the kitchen the next morning, pouring cereal for Jacob, trying to smile like my world wasn't on fire. Rick came in late, looking tired, looking nervous. I knew he saw the message. He didn't say a word about it. Neither did I. But I did say, hey, maybe we should take a weekend trip. Just us. No phones. He looked up from his coffee. Surprised. Really? He asked. Yeah, I said. Let's get away. We drove to a small Airbnb on the edge of the Ozarks. Beautiful cabin. No neighbors. Just trees and water and silence. I told him I wanted to reconnect. Told him maybe I'd been too hard on him. Told him I missed how we used to be. He let his guard down. That weekend, he said more to me than he had in months. How Cheryl was just a mistake. How he felt trapped. How he thought I didn't love him anymore. He said he felt alone. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "You're about to know what really being alone feels like." He looked confused. I reached into my bag and pulled out the manila folder. I dropped it on the table. Inside were the bank records, the texts, the forged lease, the fake signatures, and pictures of him and Cheryl. All of it. His face went white. "You think I didn't know?" I said. "I knew the day you let your brother humiliate me in front of our son. And you laughed." He tried to speak, but I raised my hand. "I already filed. 2 weeks ago. You've been served, you just don't know it yet. I've got your emails. Your lies. Your theft. And you're not walking away clean." He stood up. "You can't prove I stole anything." "I don't need to," I said. "Your girlfriend paid for it all. She left the paper trail. You just gave me the keys." He ran out of the cabin and slammed the door. I didn't follow. I just sat there, stared out at the trees, and for the first time in months, I felt calm. When we got back to town, things unraveled fast. Cheryl lost her job. The school district reviewed the texts Dave gave me. Turns out she was texting Rick during school hours, sometimes while she had students in her office. Parents started asking questions. Dave went public, blasted them both on Facebook, shared every screenshot, every photo, every detail. He got sympathy for about a week, then people started digging into his past. Turns out, Cheryl wasn't the only one cheating. Dave had a girlfriend on the side. Young, 23. She didn't know he was married. She posted everything: photos, texts, even audio recordings. The whole family fell apart. Rick tried to fight the divorce. Claimed I was setting him up. That I was using Dave against him. Didn't work. The court sided with me. I got full custody. The house. Even the business line, because he used it in my name, and I had the records to prove it. Cheryl tried to sue me for harassment. Said I was stalking her. Judge threw it out. Rick ended up moving into a tiny apartment outside town. No furniture. No job. His company let him go after the fraud stuff came to light. I heard Cheryl moved to Springfield. Alone. Quietly. Her own family won't even talk to her. As for me, I'm not proud of everything I did. I lied to Rick. I used Dave. I kept secrets from my son. But I did what I had to do. Because you can humiliate me. You can cheat on me. You can lie and steal and try to break me. But you don't get to drag my son into it. Not ever. So I ended it. And when I did, I didn't just walk away. I made sure the people who tried to destroy me had to watch everything they built burn down first.